Hi guys, good morning. This is Dan. Welcome to Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. And for those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much. If you're interested in subscribing to the channel, you can certainly go over to patreon.com and look up Engelgeist. Choose a subscription level and get the daily forecast a day early. There's also special readings every month over there, depending on the level of subscription that you choose. And this is your daily forecast. Now, this is a broad spectrum reading for many people for the highest good of the greater collective. Therefore, take what you need and leave the rest. If some of it fits, great. If it doesn't, that's okay too. You're completely fine. You just might be working on something different than what's in these cards. This is originally set for the date of Thursday, October 15th, but it is a timeless reading in the sense that because it's for the greater collective and for the highest good, it may serve you at any point in time that you see it. So keeping that in mind, please watch the video with an open mind. If you do decide to make any decisions after having watched this video in your personal life, that would be your responsibility, so keep also that in mind. And let's see what's going on in the cards for today. Now we're at that sort of midweek point, getting ready to transfer into the end of the week. We have that Apple card that we were looking at, and we've had a lot of literary witches this week, which makes me feel like something is afoot, as they say. Let's see what... And we have yet another literary witch. We have Joy Harjo, which is bravery. So in this deck, like I said, the first, I don't know how many, not very many, but the first certain amount of cards are the literary witches, and we keep getting literary witches this week, which says to me that this is a rather profound week. The underpinning last two cards of this week are Apple and Rabbit, which are the more minor sort of symbolic cards in the deck. So to me, what that's saying, or what I'm feeling is that although we might feel as though not much is going on, I think that transformation is indeed taking place, right? These literary witches are letting us know that, like, kind of as we sort of pay attention even to the smaller stuff, or we go through the day-to-day regularities, or whatever it may be, if we're shifting our perspective, if we're working on, you know, our introspection, if we're working on paying attention, we are actually achieving more than maybe we even realize. I love that this is bravery. I love that her skirt sort of looks like the earth to me, right? In the sense that she's very grounded in who she is. She's standing firm. She's facing the future, right? Do you see that, guys? I love that she has this purity of this white shirt, right? She knows who she is. She's very clear on that. She's grounded, and her skirt, it almost becomes part of the earth that she's in, or the world that she's in. She's becoming one with the environment that she exists in. Oh, the Mike Pence fly is here. Great. I've got this fly in the house that... I think it's my karma for laughing at that presidential debate. But anyways... I am going to say this. I love that she sort of feels centered, grounded, and ready to move towards the future, and she's being brave about it. Now, yesterday's card was a little bit dark and a little bit morose, right? We had, I believe it was it Solitude? Yeah. And, but I like that because there was a sense of, and we also had that Purity card, right? Which was this sense of like going inward, getting clear, getting clean. And I think that we have these gray tones here, which is the darkness that we saw in yesterday's card might be lightening up for us a little bit. Things won't be perfect, right? The gray is sort of maybe a bit moody, a little bit cloudy. There might be some confusion. We have clouds up here. But if we sort of trust ourselves and be brave and continue to move forward, ground in our present moment, in our environment, horses are always a representation of personal power. So to me, using our own personal power to move forward, we will experience beauty and growth. Again, we have these flowers. And I love this woman sort of free-falling. Right? To me, it's sort of allowing ourselves to be carried, to trust our own intuition, trust our own sort of internal guidance system and the purity of that, the knowledge of that, even if we don't fully know, right? Or we don't feel as though we fully maybe have a plan, we can still act, or we can still be brave and trust ourselves, right? There's a strength in this card. There's a earthiness, a connectedness to this card that I really, really love. All right, let's go to the Queen of the Moon deck and see what's going on with those ladies. Let me see here. And I hope you guys are having a really good week. Oh, wow. So this is the waning gibbous number 2, and this is pleasure. Look at that. Total is, the number of the card is 18, which comes to a number 9, which 9 is about personal completions. And that would definitely tie into the idea of pleasure, sort of maybe putting ourselves first. I love how both of these women are positioned heading towards what I see in my readings. When a card or the individual in the card is facing in this direction, I feel like their focus is towards the future. If we're being brave about our future, if we're being smart about it, if we're trusting ourselves, we're creating sort of this, ability to be our own guide. And I believe that that's where this pleasure card comes in, right? Where we get to experience the pleasure of that, experience like co-creation at its finest, right? We get to make a decision as to where we go, how we go, when we go, even if we don't fully have those answers, right? That's half of sort of the excitement and the joy of kind of trusting ourselves and acting in the moment and adapting as we move, right? Or as we step forward, right? There's a like when we see it in this bravery card and that horse, which represents sort of personal power, when we're being brave, when we're trusting ourselves, we are indeed sort of moving ourselves forward in that way, and we can experience pleasure from that, or we can experience, anxiety and fear, right? But we still will end up moving forward. If we're choosing not to move forward, right? Say the anxiety and fear grips us and we decide not to move forward with whatever it is we're working on, maybe, a new relationship or a new job. I always say this, you have to apply it where it fits in your life. If we're choosing not to move forward, that's a choice too, and that's an action. Inaction is also an action, right? So to me, I feel like if we're brave, if we trust, if we allow the clouds to lift, and we kind of move forward, we will experience this pleasure. It will bring us closer to this idea of personal fulfillment, to that happiness that we saw as the grounding stone earlier this week. Let's see what the grounding stone is for today. Okay, so this is nature. And nature to me can mean a couple of different things. Nature can be the natural world, right? The animal, plant, and mineral kingdom, right? And where we connect to that. There's a huge healing, and there's also great pleasure that can be found within that. When I look at this skirt, right, on this literary witches card, to me she's definitely bonding and almost blending into nature. She's becoming one with her environment. She's also sort of being, from doing that, she gains strength from that, and that's also what enables her to sort of move forward. But also, nature to me reminds me of our true nature, who we truly are, how we truly are, where we fit in, how we act and react, being aware of that, being in touch with that, being in acceptance of that, right? When we do that, we gain sort of like the freedom from the stone that we saw yesterday. We gain the wisdom in the stone that we saw 2 days previous. We also can find happiness, which is that underpinning stone for this entire week, is finding that personal happiness. And that also ties into this pleasure card too, right? She's experiencing that pleasure. She's exuding it. She's putting it out into the world, and it's being returned back to her. So keeping that in mind, for some of you, it may be connecting into the natural world to feel more pleasure, or to feel more, not necessarily brave per se, but connected so that you can be brave and you can move forward. But for others of you, and it could be a combination of both, for others of you, it's going to be about determining your own true nature and understanding that, and taking pleasure and happiness and joy and wisdom and all of those wonderful things we've been talking about this week from that awareness of who you are, from all different aspects. All right, so let me look at the stories for these ladies and we will read them really quick. Where is she? So, Joy Harjo is bravery, plunging in, making decisions, and fear. Harjo, a common Mivskoke Creek Nation name, sorry if I mispronounced that, means so brave, she's crazy. Joy Harjo, born in 1951, courageously survived an oppressive childhood, teenage pregnancy, and domestic abuse before becoming a spiritually charged poet of wild natural imagery and urgent social activism, as well as an award-winning saxophone player and singer. So talk about not allowing her environment to sort of, dictate to her what she was capable of. It's almost like she's like, when we look at this, she blended into her environment and still grew something beautiful out of whatever situations that she had to face. Now let's look at 18. Waning gibbous number 2, pleasure. Are you taking life too intensively or too seriously? The time has come to call in the pleasures of life. Seek lightheartedness at this time. Focus on what would make you happy. Schedule in activities you find pleasurable. Again, there's that word happiness, guys. I open myself to the pleasures of life. In our search for a better life, something happened along the way. We forgot how to find real pleasure in what we do rather than just being diverted from the everyday. Life can be overwhelming and our rational minds seem to need every available minute of our time to be able to cope with its demands. Pleasure has taken the back seat, or there is a pattern of it now forming destructive tendencies such as binge drinking rather than simply having a wine or two with friends. A big part of pleasure is letting go. This does not mean surrendering or giving up. It simply means handing over all of our administration, stress, and worries for a time and immersing ourselves in something joyful. When we don't allow ourselves to experience pleasure, whether in the form of laughter, play, sensuality, or the development of skills, we remain less than whole and feel a wanting. No fun actually makes us dull indeed. Over time, we are much less effective in our emotional and work lives if we do not experience regular doses of pleasure. Our ancient ancestors knew the importance of pleasure in the forming of a healthy mind, body, and spirit. There were gods and goddesses dedicated to happiness and the pleasures of life, such as the Egyptian goddess Hathor. The temples of Hathor were joyful places full of songs and beauty. There were even small temples placed in her honor outside other major deities' temples, so that people could be in a happy and contented mental mood before entering to worship. The Egyptians clearly believed that having a positive or relaxed state of mind assisted in having a positive spiritual connection. The companion stone or metal is turquoise. So I think that's beautiful. I think adopting bravery and this idea of pleasure, the enjoyment of beauty, the connection to both of those, bringing those into our world and into our true nature can bring about the happiness that we seek this week. I think that that's a beautiful, there goes the Mike Pence fly. He's driving me crazy. He flies into the videos now, the little shit. Sorry, that wasn't very spiritual of me. But he seems to want to like play with me all day long. They have, I think, never mind. I was gonna say they have a life of like a few days, so he should be gone soon until his brother comes flying in the door. Anyways, that is your forecast for the day. I'm sorry for being so goofy, but you guys enjoy your day. These are beautiful cards this week. I really think even if things feel a little bit mundane or restrained due to like whatever we're dealing with, transformation is taking place. These energies are available to you, and they are powerful and beautiful and wonderful. So please take them and run with them as fast and as far as you can. That is your forecast. I love you all. Please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys tomorrow. And subscribe if you feel so inclined. All right, take care. Bye-bye.